the reason why most of you came today. So the Lifetime Achievement Award. I want to give a little bit of the history. When we first created the concept of the IES, we wanted to have the award event, and we said we really need someone to who's a true leader in sales, who's done great things. So we went to Rob. Rob was very gracious to accept our first award, and we've been very fortunate to have a great list of selling and business leaders, great human beings as well, to continue the Lifetime Achievement Award trend with Ann and Mark and Jay Nussbaum and Bruce Klein as well. So the way that the process works is we accept nominations. It's a little different than the 5 awards behind me. We accept nominations from members about leaders in the community, people who have truly built organizations, who are true sales professionals. When you look at them, you know that they are not just sales leaders, but business leaders and great human beings, and have affected many, many lives. This year, we had a committee of 15 people. We got nominations for 30 companies. Some of the people in the room here were on the nomination committee. We then accepted them. We then had 2 meetings where we narrowed down the list to 5, and then we had a final meeting with a smaller group where we narrowed down the list of 1. And in this case, a little bit of a twist, we're actually giving this year's Lifetime Achievement to 3. So as is our tradition, the previous year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner presents this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winners. So I'm very excited to bring back to the lectern last year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Mark Weber.
Thanks, Fred. As is tradition, after I received this award, I lost my job, and no, I'm kidding. I did. After my 35-year IT career, I did transition. After receiving this award, I'm now a college professor, and I teach sales at Catholic University. And I want to put in a plug for, thanks. But put a plug in. For the last year, I've spent a bunch of time with Fred helping on a lot of his initiatives. So I encourage you to please get involved and give back to our profession. And Fred's a great way to do that in his institute. So Fred, there's a lot of candidates here to help you. So we've already had some good tributes on our winners, so I'm not going to give too much of a tribute. But Tom, great keynote. You did make one comment I want to that the tributers did not say, and that's that if we want to all remember that Immix was recently acquired by Arrow, and Steve, Art, and Jeff did make a lot of money. Okay, so I'm mentioning that even though the tributers did not. So congratulations to you 3. So yes, that does need a round of applause. Good, yes. So they did make a lot of money. So. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of times you give out an award, you don't know the people that well, or you know them a little bit. I've known these gentlemen for 18 years. Who hasn't gone fishing, golfing, or drinking with these 3 gentlemen? I have many, many times. So I want to thank you for your friendship, because I think your business that you built was not just about business, it was about friends. So I want to thank you for that. I even got to coach a 7-year-old soccer team with Jeff 18 years ago, the Pink Panthers. So those girls are now 25. But more importantly, their contribution to sales has been tremendous. If you think about it, over 500 OEMs and 1,000 partners have been helped by Immix and the sales services that they've put together. So, I mean, that's huge reach. But, you know, kind of the last bullet I'll mention is, think about this contribution. 300 new college grads have gotten their IT sales career started at Immix. So, unbelievable contribution to the future of our profession. So thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, now it's their turn to talk. I am honored and blessed to be up here and congratulate Jeff, Art, and Steve for the Lifetime Sales Achievement Award. Come on up, guys. Thank you. Congratulations. Didn't throw you under the bus.
Art and I agreed that I would start first and then he would play cleanup. First of all, thank you, Fred. This is an amazing organization. Your organization and my involvement in it brought me up to speed. I think the most recent book I had on sales was Spin before I got involved in IES, and I'm so richly blessed by the speakers that you bring, and I'm so gratified that so many of our immix folks come every month, and I do still when I can. It's great to be part of this club of Lifetime Achievement Award winners, Bruce and Ann and Rob. Just great, and of course Mark. One little story from one of you, Rob. I remember you back in the days of Fed data and wondered from afar what it must be like to be, that successful. I also remember the day after Jeff and I agreed that it would be immixGroup, that I was at one of these events sitting next to you, and it was explaining what immix was going to be. What's an immix? I've got that question from contracting officers. I got it from you, and you said, "Do you have a card?" I didn't have a card. We hadn't put anything in print yet. We just knew we were going to do this, and you reminded me of the old Izzy Feldman statement: a sales and business development person without a business card is not a sales or business development person. There is another ending to that sentence that I won't repeat here today. I want to talk a little bit about Jeff Copeland. Jeff and I started this company together, and Art came along shortly thereafter, and we did make a great three-legged stool. But Copeland was the sales leader at Texas Instruments and later at Sterling Software, and he was a great follower of Huthwaite, Spin, solution selling. And he would have loved Tom's speech this morning because he always said, it's about the activities. Measure the activities, and I can forecast the revenue. And given the vagaries of this government market, he always wanted to see 3x over what you thought you were going to be able to close based on all those activities. And that's how we always made our numbers. And we were profitable every year. So I just would like us to give Jeff Copeland a big round of applause because he set that tone. Now, as the beginners of a company, those of you who have done this, you know you just work all the time, and you don't have much patience for anybody who isn't like in sync with where you're going. And so Jeff and I found our third partner, someone we'd worked with for years, and we always knew that Art would be part of this because, Art is probably the best in town at figuring out those tasks and tying a comp plan to those tasks that actually gets everybody as a team running through the tape. I don't know of anybody better, but then I haven't really worked that closely with some others, but all I can tell you is that the reason for our success in large measure was that ability to tie comp plans to all those carefully defined tasks. The final point I'd like to make today is that as we grow, as individuals, as organizations, it requires ever more discipline and ever more attention. And that's how we become more productive as individuals and as organizations. Our activities and our culture must evolve as technologies change and as our organizations change and grow. And one of the people here today, Amy Kelly, was instrumental in helping us mature our culture, formalize our internal training, and hand it on to the next generation. Something that Arrow has now pulled in for their whole ECS division. Hundreds of internal course offerings. Because when you are thinking about those finite little tasks and how it all fits together, you have to train your people. You have to develop a culture of constant learning. And that's what we did. And Amy was a big part of that. So, Art, the master of pulling teams together and tying them to comp plans that actually work.
Thank you, Steve. And again, I just want to quickly thank IES, the nominating committee, and Fred for all that you guys are doing from a sales perspective. As Steve mentioned, what a great forum to honor sales, because that's why we're all here today. That's a passion for me, and I can tell you that what the Institute is doing, you really need to take advantage of. It's a great forum, and I appreciate the honor here today. Secondly, I'd like to thank my family. I have 3 of my kids here. My 4th child, my youngest, Catherine, has SOLs today, for those of you in Fairfax County, and that's a cardinal sin. You know, Mark, you understand that. You and I think we understand that. And so you can't miss SOLs, but my daughter Emma, my son Arthur, and my son Joseph are here this morning. And I think when those of you in the room who have achieved the level of success as a sales professional, you know, sometimes along the way you have to have certain sacrifices in your life. And, you know, Catherine's sacrificing by going to an SOL today. But we've made sacrifices along the way to achieve some of the successes, and I couldn't be here without your support as a family. Love you guys and appreciate all you've done to help me get here. Some key influencers in my life. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my mom and dad, of course. I'm going to pick up my mother. She's a snowbird from upstate New York, and I'm getting on a flight down to bring her up on the train because she doesn't fly. This is a lot of fun. But as a son, that's what we do. Right, Mom? Where's Fred's mom? She's still here. But yeah, these are the things that we do for our parents. But my dad was a funeral director. Many of you who know me know that my dad was a funeral director. And he taught me about, you know, what customer support and how you do customer service. He taught me about a work ethic. My mom taught me about how to make sure that you were genuine all the time. Make sure you're authentic and genuine and listen to the customer, as Tom was saying. You have to really listen. In the funeral home business, you got to really listen. Because if you try to sell something there in a town of 5,000 people, if you try to upsell from a pine casket to a walnut or a cherry or a mahogany, I can tell you that doesn't go over well. You don't sell a funeral, right? No, they come to you. And you got to listen. So, highly suggest that was a very formative years of my life in that business. And I learned a lot about, you know, basic sales skills in that business. Finally, I want to thank my colleagues. Again, Steve and Jeff, for the opportunity to work with these guys. It's been amazing. They've taught me so much, and I learned from my family, my friends that are here today. Many of my friends are here today as I look across this audience, and the colleagues from immixGroup I've worked with, my management team. Many of our clients and customers and partners are here today. And every time I had an opportunity to present to the company, every time I had an opportunity to try to sell a new account like Mark, or to sell to a customer, that's an opportunity for me to learn as a salesperson. And really take that opportunity. There's a lot you can learn every single day to hone those sales skills. And really so much of that, so much of who I am and the success that we've had as a business comes from listening and providing those solutions, listening to what that customer's issues were, helping to show them a solution and provide a solution for them, and then guide them to that success. Because our success here is because of your success. That's the reason we stand here today, is because of the success of all of you here. So I want to thank you so much again for this wonderful award. And again, thank you, IES. Have a great day. Thanks.
We have one other small presentation as Kyla begins to make her way up. We have one more presentation. This is a congressional record from Congressman Connolly to Jeff and to Steve and to Art, basically recognizing the 2016 Institute for Excellence in Sales Lifetime Achievement Award recipients, and it's very nice, it's official. So congratulations to Art and to Steve, and if you see Jeff, give him this first as well. So one more time, let's have a great round of applause for Art and Steve. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.